Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Super Journey Dudes podcast, Lancer Edition, Blink Space Blues Talkback session for session 12. All aboard the Winchipur Express. That's the Trade Ice episode, baby. That's listen, yeah, one of the first things I did when we were like creating this whole campaign, I asked the players like, what do you want to see in this story? And then one of them was a race episode, which happened with the neon stretch, and then one of them was a train heist. So I was like, let me squeeze that in here. So you guys did a little bit of a train heist, so that's how that came to be. Any initial thoughts, especially from Ames and Magnus, who weren't playing during it, just watching?
Bugaki's so messy. He's just being a messy
He's
queen.
so messy.
Like,
Yeah.
he's just stirring the pot off of people instead of like diffusing situations. He's like instigating and starting to make them worse. Like between those two people.
Consistency is key.
Yeah. He doesn't just flip
is
over there.
consistent.
Yeah.
Bugaki is very consistent.
I really didn't. I watching this back. I did not understand the motive of Bugaki in this episode.
That was my own motive.
In my mind, it was like Bugaki was so excited to do a train heist that he forgot he was doing a train heist. That he was just like saw all these cool robots with jewels and like wanted to talk to them, and then
Yeah, he was just. I think he was just interested. Like, who's this guy? And then every guy he talked to was like trying to.
My take is that Bugaki likes fooling people to thinking that he's someone he's not.
Yeah,
Trying to pretend to be famous this, famous that.
Yeah, he like overcompensates because he's like in disguise. He's like, everyone needs to see that I have like a great disguise.
Yeah, the job is well done when everyone knows.
He constantly blows it.
Yeah.
What was Whisker's motivation of seeming to try and piss off the entire gang?
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. He was like trying to rile up the gangster or the pirates.
Whisker's is just being a dog and just trying to play along. And I think he was trying to originally recover Bugaki because Bugaki was asking about the jewels, and he was worried that Bugaki was gonna get hurt or something. So he was trying to diffuse it and make it like a innocent question. And then it ended up escalating to something else, so that he was just like, okay, well, now I'm just gonna play like a dumb dog. So
a train driver.
Well, you guys unfortunately like ran into the wrong guy, because Emerald Lagasse, which obviously the name is based off of the famous chef Emerald Lagasse, he had like the Joe Pesci from Goodfellas vibe, whereas like anything you said to him was like gonna irritate him. And like if you think about it, like all of the robots, they're sitting on like so much money, more money than they've ever had. And they're on this heist that like they're trying to like play it cool, whatever. And all of a sudden, these fucking random people are like asking them questions and then calling out that they're pirates, like their pirate gang name. Like obviously they're gonna be like really fucking stressed out and on edge and like very mean to you. So that's kind of why I played it that way. Especially like in my mind, like Emerald Lagasse was one of the meaner ones, and Bugaki happened to just set him off. But that was fun to play.
Bugaki hit everybody up.
Yeah,
it made complete sense.
He's like, I'm gonna talk to you.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it did make sense.
It felt right. Every one of those robos, every single one.
Yeah, I want art of that whole gang, because they like in my mind they look so sick with like they're just like robots with like encrusted in all the different types of gems.
Are they the kind of robots to Ginyu Force pose together?
Probably. Yeah. There's a
Diamond Destruction won't tell you that, but
yeah, I want Art of Diamond Destruction so bad.
Those guys need to come back.
Yeah, they should. They gotta come back in some way.
When I saw Diamond Destructo, I'm like, I know he's coming back. I can already tell. I don't
know when or where, but yeah. But yeah, before like at the very beginning of the episode, just because we didn't have Sappy last Talkback, the Roland and Noon reunion, like the reunion with the two Phasos brothers, at the end of last session and then picked up at the beginning of this session. What was that like for Mikey Starhand? Because that, like 2 for 1. That was not even just reuniting with one person.
Yeah. I think Noon was the biggest surprise. Like I was very much expecting to kind of find Roland, and like just based on what we had kind of discussed with some of the plot points. So like when Noon kind of interjected and did what he did, it kind of complicated my brain. Like I was in like a lot of different places because that was like my first time RPing with both of them. So I was like, oh shit, I gotta see about how like I'm so familiar with Roland, like and friendly, but like Noon was such a interesting person to kind of deal with as well because he was just kind of acting on orders. It wasn't like
he's not an
it wasn't
enemy
Joseph.
necessarily, right?
I couldn't like feed off of it like Joseph, where we're just like insulting each other, trying to like kill each other or something.
Yeah.
Whereas Noon, it's more like I'm trying to like. It's like you're like, and it's like you're looking at a snake. I feel like if I had to describe what talking to Noon would be like as RP, it's like I feel like he's just kind of like doing this, and then like he might get you one day, like if you're not paying too much attention. So I very much was afraid Chris was just gonna take me out at any point in time. Noon showed up.
Yeah, I had always planned that like when you did eventually go to look for Roland, Noon would be like tracking you guys to find Roland. That was in my mind like what made sense.
I didn't even think about that when I first was talking about Roland to you, as like he's kind of like reclused, he's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I was like thinking that like if anything they forgot about him more, but it's cooler using them as like a tool because we're interacting, and it just kind of I feel like there's so much more that goes on with other episodes, but this really is it's a nice like slow, steady start into the Phasos like journey.
We're slowly meeting more of them.
Because I feel like where things go, it really picks up, and I feel like having these little moments where you're like, okay, here's two brothers, here's one brother. It's like, okay, it's a little bit, it's easier to picture it all happening.
Yeah.
And then when shit gets crazier, it just like it feels like it plays out really well time wise.
Yeah. The Mikey family is it's a fun one to explore.
I think I've loved all family interactions so far.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
There's lots more.
The character of Smiley O'Reilly, he was just there because I always thought it would be a fun idea to have like a meta aspect of like where everyone was aware that there was a laugh track. And then I was like, oh, like in this universe, I could build someone who like has literally like speaker cybernetics that you can play a laugh track. And then obviously because like with like voice mod, you can play the sounds. I was like, voice mod, I'm telling you, this character was created with voice mod in mind. So he was just like a fun little thing to do.
That's a good character.
Yeah, he's fun.
He's super fun.
The Jewel Pegger names, fun fact, were created by me and D-Fran once upon a time. Like we were just like we're sitting down and like fleshing out the universe, and then I think we were just like, yo, we should name them all after the jewels and the ores and stuff.
Did the name come first or the actual gang?
So actually, the way we all came up with pirate names, the pirate gang names, were as a group. We came up with a bunch of like pirate related names, and then like jeweled, and then Peggers was in there, and then like just like a bunch of pirate names like Scurvy, whatever. And then we rolled
little key box words.
And then we rolled 2d20s, and then like the two that they landed on became their name. So it ended up being Jeweled Peggers. And then we're like, oh, that'd be cool if they were like
greasers, Jeweled
That's
Peggers.
like really good.
Yeah. Teeth greasers, Jeweled Peggers. Flying Flyers was funny because it landed on the same word fly twice.
Yeah, that was.
Is it
Skull Pounders?
Or
Pegger.
Pegger. Like peg leg. I think the word was
Oh,
because like
I was thinking a different.
Well, no, it ended up becoming Peggers because
I think I said
Not a
Peggers
Bugatti,
because
so.
I thought that was a funny pirate name, but then we ended up getting it.
And then I think,
Peggers is
based on so we had the name Jeweled Peggers, and then we were like, oh, that'd be cool if they were just like robots that were just like jeweled, and then the idea to name them all each after a stone or a thing was fun. Yeah,
I heard what I wanted to hear, certainly, because it was Pecker for me, and I was imagining them
Jeweled
all with like, garnet dongs.
Oh, that's why Bugaki's talking about.
That's when he gets the gang. If he ever gets in charge of the gang, he'll remove them.
Yeah.
New image, guys.
The scene with the Rift book, kind of going off what we said last talkback. it was another chance, like once like Mikey sat down and read it, another chance to like tell the audience about the beliefs of the numanism ideology. And I think for you guys as players, because never really talked about it, it's the first time you guys are hearing about like their whole like what they're trying to do, their whole belief of like where they came from or where they say they came from, and like their whole like agenda. Which like I don't know, keeping that in the back of your mind, like hopefully you guys can like think about how the new union and like the rift stuff and all that is like pushing towards this greater goal of theirs. Now that you know like their beliefs and stuff, it'll all like make sense hopefully as you guys progress through the story. But this is like another like lore drop moment.
It's hard to think about that stuff when we're like role playing and stuff, but when we talk about it during these talkbacks, I do think about it.
Yeah.
But it's like 10 episodes like later because in recording we're like 10 episodes ahead.
There's so much like like not even like unintentional foreshadowing that I feel like we do when we do our
intentional when I do it.
I just feel like as players, we say some of the like, I don't even know. It just feels like biblically true at this point because certain things like even me, Bugaki, like at this point in the story, like I'm not going to get super into it because it has to do with future stuff, but just the interactions we have about like even the moment where I like go really closely and like mention that I want to blow up like a planet. Like I feel like that's the first like little moment of like actually talking about like plans to do things and like discussing things. And it's interesting for me as a player to like see even Alex's character in that moment, like what he was doing and compare it to like how we talk about things now. And it makes a lot of sense to me.
There was a moment even for just me this too. Episode. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but like when you guys are interacting and Bugaki's like causing a bunch of shit on the train. And Mikey's like, you're fucking like doing all this shit and like fucking shit up. And like, there's like a little bit of a button heads there. I like that. I like that. I do like that. I don't want to
I was showing Alex clips the other day. No, I was just showing Alex clips the other day of like different characters and how they react and like how I kind of want to go into like more of that with how all of our characters have dynamics and things like that. I feel like naturally things occur and we try to like RP them into existence, but there's so many different ways you can take it. And I feel like I'm having a lot of fun with this campaign for sure with that. I feel like the first campaign I was a little bit more, I was trying to be more tame and just enjoy the plot and like get an adventure, you know?
Playing this is all our first time like
I could see that.
Doing stuff together,
I did a little bit of things where I was like, oh, this will be a little contentious, but like now I'm actively like, okay, how would I act in this scenario versus like what I feel is right.
We all are playing very much into our characters more so than season 1, which was like an adventure. We were just playing D&D adventure.
I guess I guess this was very character focused with like there is plot obviously, but the first season, the podcast version, the Rainbow Valley, is very like adventure focused, and we're like characters in the adventure.
Until the last episode where you guys threw a whole bunch of like character focused actions in, and I was like, I need more.
That is true.
Season 2.
This campaign has like full on character development. Like in the last campaign, there wasn't really any change in characters.
There's like a little bit of growth, but like it's because I think it's a small chunk of this a much bigger story, right? Which we have yet to play. Whereas this is obviously trying to be a little more condensed.
Which attributes to a lot of different things. I feel like emotions getting higher in different moments. Versus, I feel like if we had RP moments in the other campaign,
of this are also like galactic. So a lot more.
The stakes in the first one,
more exponential.
I can't remember when it started picking up, but usually after the Bloodstone Underground, everything was like slowly getting there. But even then, we'd have like every like third or second episode, we'd have a good rest where we'd be like, okay, let's breathe for a minute.
Yeah, Amy, if you have some time, you should watch or listen to the first season. It's sick.
Listen to it as you're going to bed.
Yeah, as you go to bed or like doing something. And it's just audio.
I mean, almost a fundamental difference that I'm experiencing is it seems like this universe was built with your characters in mind. Whereas the first universe, it didn't quite seem that way.
Well, what I was just about to say is that in season 1, we're a bunch of nobodies, but this one, it's like Mikey and Bugaki are like the princes of their empire.
Some weird ass royalty shit.
That's true. Like,
what kind of sci-fi story would it be without all that? But
the
also,
characters are very
a bit too
in the world.
Well, also, D-Fran did like kind of create the whole world of like the Rainbow Valley story before we even like talked about anything, right? Whereas this very much was like building off of the Rainbow Valley stuff. We sat down together to create a whole world, and then like the characters are very much
collaborative for sure. Yeah. But I feel like even based on like again what we were saying about the first season, just based on the pacing, even as you're saying like all that character heavy stuff in that last episode, I feel like a lot of this stuff, even specifically for like Belmont's history within the universe, has like not been touched more so.
Because it's invented after the fact.
The reason why that stuff.
I'm very excited to get back into that world.
The reason why this campaign is sorry, Defer, go ahead.
No, there was a lot of Belmont stuff that we didn't even get to.
I know, it was hinted at.
For foundation, but we didn't really get fully into it. But it does. It has the similar weight, but in a different way, because I feel like with this campaign, it really does just put you kind of fast forwarding into a certain point of time where it feels like super, like the first season, we were just like, here's your caravan, plot setting.
Yeah,
this
is very accelerated.
We had a little.
It's because the first one we were literally on an adventure and it was unfolding in front of us, but we were still like in a set world. And then this one is the extrapolated universe galaxy that world occurs in.
Yeah,
and we're jumping around, right?
But also, the universe itself is moving very fast. Whereas, like the world itself, there isn't too much happening that doesn't directly. Affect our characters. Anyways, tune in to see.
Hello, Raiders.
Oh, what's up?
Hey.
Well, thank you for the raid. What up? How's it going? Just talking about the latest episode. Speaking of the latest episode, Jerry Beans.
That
was like
I completely forgot about that.
I did too until I was editing it again. But like, that was an on the spot snack that I made up because Different was like, give me something that's not on the menu that I pre-made. And that was made based off of, there's a Yu-Gi-Oh card called Jerry Beans Man. And it's just like this, like, there's like a Jerry, it's like a jelly bean with like, he's like a knight. Yeah, look at it, it's Jerry Beans Man. So like in my head, I was just like Jerry Beans, and then I was like, "Fuck, what do they like? Look, like what do they do?" And then like I was just like sentient beans named Jerry, and then that became this horrifying snack. Jerry Beans Man
is so cute.
Yeah,
he's so
awesome.
Cute that I thought he'd be.
Jerry Beans Man is awesome. It's a legendary card.
Bean soldier.
Yeah, there he is. There he is. That's what I pictured.
Strongest warrior in the world.
Yeah, that's what they're eating basically. Also, you guys, I also forgot this happened in the episode because I was just thinking about the train heist. But you guys also visited Washi's little hideout at the beginning.
Yes.
Which in my mind, I pictured it to kind of be like Obi-Wan's cave hideout in the Disney Plus show, where it's like in the mountains and it's just like this like cave that just has like the basic essentials in it. But this was like, obviously he wasn't there, but this was like me leaving you a paper trail to find him, similar to like. And this was kind of inspired by like in season 1, Rainbow Valley, where we were looking for Genki, and that was like one of our first quests.
That's right.
And everywhere we went to that we thought Genki was, he was not there. We didn't find him until way later. And so this looking for Washi, who's also Karinian, was also, I was like, I should do the same thing. These elusive Karinians. So that's why he's not there. Yeah.
God.
Yep. In terms of the heist itself, man, it's so hard to make a heist. Like when I was trying to build this heist, I was like looking at Reddit of like what are like good train heist ideas. I wanted to make it not too easy, not too hard, but like it's so hard because like you guys could like do one thing really well, and then it kind of like could break the whole heist. And like there's like so many moving pieces. So then like my alternative to like making it more interesting and not just like a regular heist, like a boring heist, was to like put you guys in a situation where like where you made a plan, but like when you got there was so much more going on the train than you guys were aware of. And like specifically the passcode thing, you guys are so lucky because like the robots moving around the train and like whispering to each other, like that was a ploy to make it sneaky of who got the passcodes, but like that was truly the hardest part of the heist that you guys had to figure out. And Bugaki rolled a 31 on Invent a Crate that surpassed that entire piece of the heist, which was like a huge part of like figuring that out. I was like, God damn it. I got to make it interesting in other ways. But yeah.
You definitely did.
Yeah, so hopefully it was fun at the end of the day. Yeah,
I feel like it was all the way to the end. I feel like that was a fun, because even like the last nudge exit really plays well, because it would have been weird. Like I was even watching back, I was like, okay, I remember I get this stuff, but I'm like, wow, what happens after we get this stuff? And I couldn't remember what the fuck happened. And then as it started to happen, I was like, oh fuck, shit really, like there's like a whole second half of this that's like even messier somehow.
Yeah, if you want to know a little behind the scenes, the actual the real passcode, who it got passed to, it actually started with Opal Andy. It got passed to Pearly Pete. And then Pearly Pete passes it to Lapis Lazuli, who passes it to Tommy Topaz, who has it at the end of the session. So if you want to rewatch the whole thing, you can see who actually you can know who has the passcode at any given moment. Yeah, it's very I
don't know how we would have figured that out though.
we like to think we're attentive, but we're like yeah, we'll throw dice at that problem instead.
Yeah, another little Easter egg that I might as well tell you because you already did the heist. That orc woman that was like looking around and like being very like anxious. You guys never like looked into that. That was an orc named Laruga who was actually on the run from the cops from the New Union. And so like she was very paranoid about any weird thing happening and all sweaty and stuff. I wanted that to be like someone you interacted with because it was I don't know what would have happened, but like it gave me
like a red herring moment for sure. I felt like red herring just because of the stress.
Yeah.
But then after that interaction was like kind of like, you know, everything else was happening. I was like, okay, maybe a distraction, maybe I'll keep track. But I was so like, I tell you guys, my anxiety levels are off the roof. Any scenario that I have to play as Mikey in a room or like in a hallway or like, I'm not even going to talk about how many scenarios I feel like Mikey gets himself into like this, but I had to play it cool. Like he literally has a thing that says stay cool, but like me as a player, I get so like tense. Like once the Tabaxi came in.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest rage.
I was more scared than having the two guards there.
What would you say, Magnus?
What the Tabaxi? Do you guys find out later on?
So Ames actually knows who that might be because later on. But like Magnus, what are your initial thoughts of like who this?
You haven't read the notes, eh? Because it should be in the notes.
I read the notes 6 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm immediately going back to the notes.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this cat, this Tabaxi, or what's going on with that whole situation?
I have no idea. I just want to find out.
Yeah.
Out of everything, it was like they didn't find out any answers about what that.
Actually, when I created that whole thing, I was just like, oh, it's just like a cat dude that like has his own heist going on. But then after the session, I was like, maybe there's more to this cat.
I think it played out because I was trying to stay hidden behind him. He was like also kind of like sneaky and sly, but like there's moments where I was like, should I like interact with him? But all I could see was death on the other side of that because I felt like he was going to react. Yeah. He maybe didn't know what side I was on. If I've just been like phased into reality, he just shoots me in the face. Like it could have been really awkward. So I was just scared.
No, I think you played it well. You played it well. But yeah, very cool cat who stole stuff that you didn't even look into what he took.
As a player, I would have double-casted that. I would have tried to take whatever that cat took. If he doesn't care about what's in the vault, it's got to be way more valuable.
I thought you guys would do something more with that, but then you're right. Mikey was being way too terrifying.
And he had guns. I was like, No,
Yeah, that moment was so sick. It's like you go to plant a gun on him, and he's already packing. It's like, oh shit! Yeah, that was great.
I feel like also like point of view, like Mikey's like he talks a lot right now at the campaign, but I feel like he's not actually like fully as strong as he probably talks. So like even though he's like confident and stuff, but like wouldn't be able to like really take her. Even those two guards would have been scary for Mikey. I feel like specifically at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to me that you created a character that you have to role play that gives you anxiety. Like Mikey's MO gives you anxiety. And
I
I
talk about this all the time because like I try not to play characters that like I would play like would be me at all. Because like I think Belmont was a lot more like representative of how I feel and how I want to act. And Mikey kind of pushes me to uncomfortability and like more brash, more outgoing actions. And while I'm doing them, I'm just tense the whole time. Just I'm like, oh, well, this could backfire. I'm completely analyzing the scenario.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Mikey was the main like mover in this heist, right? Like everyone else was kind of supporting because he had the invisibility belt, right? But yeah, it worked out. You guys did not die. Well, I mean, the only real consequence that happened was you guys sent a conductor hurling through space to God knows where on an ever speeding train.
So that one is Whiskers like getting there. It's like, all right, shit. Like, do I stab him or do I try to knock him out? And then like fumbling and just like doing neither, just like punching him awkwardly.
Yeah, so as like a filmmaker, writer, director person, I always had like since the past like decade, I've had like ongoing notes of just like ideas that I thought would be cool. And one idea was always someone who wanted to knock someone out in like some kind of like sneaky situation, but like does the one blow and they don't get knocked out and they just end up bludgeoning them. And I was like, oh my god, I could like enact this exact idea right now. And so I did that. So I've had that idea for like at least a decade.
I love when brutal moments happen with something like Whiskers and like shit like that. It's just a funny like juxtaposition where he's like just completely hammering down on another person, but also just charming Whiskers.
Yeah,
you should feel a lot of things at once in your brain. You're like, am I?
I know.
Yeah.
Like literally, like sorry. I just want to drive this thing.
It's like caving in this man's poor head.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
But you guys also have now that you've like made good with the pirates and stuff, you helped them on their mission. You guys now have these pirates in your pocket if you ever need to call upon them, which is a good resource to have, a good allies to have in the events to come.
So far, we got our one gang.
Any final thoughts? Any favorite moments? That's all I got in my notes.
That's all I get.
No, I think the whole heist was pretty juicy as itself.
It's really hard to like fit just like a random heist in like this story that like keeps escalating, right? But like it seemed like
it worked out well.
Yeah, it worked out good. Like it was a little break. Like you were in this moment where you're finally reuniting with Roland. He's like, I'm in the middle of a heist, so you're gonna help him out. Right?
Did you have to like force Roland into a pirate group? Like
no.
When he was always in a pirate group.
Well, like my idea for him was always in a pirate group, but like the pirates were technically forced into the train heist. Because you don't think of pirates when you think of train heist. Well, I guess you could, but
you could.
That's what
depending.
More
banditos.
Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of the idea of the train heist was kind of just not shoehorned in because it does work out.
I like where you've taken like the Roland plot because I think originally when I was like thinking of Roland, I was like, dude in a castle on a hill, like degrading in books or something. But I like how he's literally in like a troop of people that have like kind of adapted him into a bit of a family. Like there's so many good lines of dialogue with Roland around that and like the familiarity that we have versus like my idea was to kind of like originally just have him a bit more dreary and like taken back kind of by the whole experience so that he almost doesn't even have anything going on. But it would be hard to take his character and like bring it anywhere because he would be like stuck in like this pit, basically.
Yeah,
so I feel like him having like something already going on, despite him already suffering stuff, it kind of brings him to a place where you can actually interact with him.
Yeah, so Sappy told me, like he like kind of when Mikey like went missing from the family, like Roland like kind of like goes off and does his thing. My thinking behind it was like he wanted to get away from like the politics, all of the Condria stuff. So he obviously goes to the other side of the galaxy, to a more like simpler life. And then I figured the pirates made sense because Roland was always his call sign is the Joker. He was always like a sillier, more lighthearted dude. And I was like, silly pirates that get up to like piratey shenanigans that like make him laugh all the time and stuff, like, and especially like Smile Rallies, like that seemed like a fit of like a group that he would fall into naturally. And so that was my thinking. And then also when I think like one of the early episodes, I think when Sappy, when you ask somebody if they have any intel on where Roland might be. Oh, I think it was it was the teeth greasers. It was Rusty. I had to make it up on the spot, and I was like, Munchper. So I kind of cornered him into the pirate area, and I was like, okay, I gotta make this work.
That's jokes.
Yeah, that's how that happened. Yeah. You guys are in a cool spot. A lot of cool stuff happens next episode too, as you guys are now on Zerf, the planet which you are banned from, or like basically refugees, right?
We like to get in trouble on our.
What?
I think Magnus was gonna say something. I saw you open your mouth and then you closed it.
It's mostly. I'm just wondering, Chris, as a DM, I just can't stop thinking if the gang got upset with them, how would they, like, if a fight had broken out, how would that have been dealt with? It's just like it's an overwhelming force. I'm just like,
I don't know. I don't know. It was a close call, and there were a lot more of them than you guys. But you guys did have. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, like,
I would have kind of poked the bear on that one too.
I would have to think about it on the spot.
I feel like we definitely enjoy the RP part and like enjoy messing with Chris sometimes. I think when it gets RP, but I feel like he does take it. He starts to notice. I think. More and more, and you can, and then you'll feel the heat. You'll feel the heat turn up slowly, and you've gone a little too far.
Yeah. Well, I was also if I think about it now, like if that was to happen, my first thoughts would maybe be like Tajimaru and Smile Riley would have had a bigger role in it. Maybe, maybe the orc would have played into it more. The cat as well could have maybe done so there were like characters around that could have maybe done something or supported you in some way, so maybe that would have happened. I don't know. I really don't know what would have happened.
That's the best thing. You make a scenario and then whatever happens.
Literally, like I said in the chat, every mission is like, how did we do that? Like we end up in such like at the beginning I was like, okay, these guys. So we need to do all of these things. I listed out like 10 things. Like every single one of these steps needs to go correctly. And somehow we did it.
Not one correctly, but also like we also like went through and like talked to so many people, got involved, like aggravated people, and like had to figure out other things because there's like there's a lot of different shit that happened.
Like every
it was
heist
concise on paper.
Every heist and every piece of media ever, like there's a plan, but there's always something else that happens. So, but you guys navigated it fine. You guys did it. You guys came out of that, and you're only supposed to get 5K. I think was the original agreement. You guys got 12K out of that. So,
what a beautiful time to have that money. We were so. I feel like that was our biggest payout, isn't it?
I think that's your biggest payout. Because I think that race was 10K.
Fresh. That we blew up.
Yeah.
That was not worth it.
What will they do with that money? Find out next time on Blank Space Blues. We will see you here, same time, same place next week. And then if you're around on Wednesday, just a reminder, we are doing a charity stream in support of the Covenant House. Which is a wonderful Yeah, the Ute. Supporting the Ute is Canada's largest organization that supports youth that are trafficked, homeless, or at risk. So they've reached out to us, and we're partnering with them for a Pokemon D&D charity stream, which we've done 3 of already, which are very fun to do. We're doing a 4th one this Wednesday with the same crew, plus DJ Keon, our pal from New York. Amy knows Shabir well. And that'll be, so hopefully see you there. That's a stream that truly, like, that's where we need the most donations if you got anything to spare, because it's for a good cause. So
pay Chris to do Pokemon impressions.
Well, don't pay me. Pay the Covenant House for
Pay
me to
the
do
you.
Pokemon.
Pay you, and then you pay Covenant House.
Yeah, something like that.
With so many tiny MP3
one super final thing, you have to listen to the Super Journey Dudes song on your Instagram. My brother found it, actually. I missed it entirely. Super Journey Dudes! It's amazing. It's so
the video? Super Journey Dudes!
Wait, I don't remember.
It's like one of the first posts. It's one of the first.
Amazing. It's so catchy.
Yeah. D-Fred and Brendan made that, so long ago. And like, I was like, this can't be the intro for the show. I'll throw it in the social media. Like, the intro
even
that
I was like, this is too. You can't listen to that every episode. You can't.
My brother
hear that
every week. Like, have you heard this yet?
I'm going to look for it.
Yeah, it's one of the first posts. Yeah,
Wow,
it's one of the first
that's
like
a
video
deep cut,
posts.
man. That's a deep
Wow.
cut.
Yeah, I saw you like it today, and I was like, this man knows the song.
Wait, it's in the Super Journey Dude Instagram?
It's one of the first posts. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm scrolling.
First person to find it wins.
There's a lot.
Wait, no, I don't.
It's one of the first. It's one of the first video posts. There's also Valjakar time lapse that also has a Super Journey Dude song. Have you heard that one too?
Yeah.
It's like a Super Journey. That one's good too.
There's a Valjakar time lapse. There's
a Valjakar time lapse of the song. Yeah, toward the beginning as well. But yes, if anyone has extra time and wants to listen to something, Rainbow Valley, great season of a podcast,
Valley
and a lot of cool connections to this campaign. So
I'll be here.
And we'll, after this
Rainbow
Valley Blues is done, we're gonna do season 2 of Rainbow Valley, right? That's the plan.
I'll cry every episode.
So catch up on that. And I would love to play Cyberpunk Red, the Cyberpunk TTRPG, on like Megachondria as just like a cyberpunk thing on Megachondria. That's like a standalone thing.
Cool.
That'd be really cool. I already know it's gonna be called Tales from the Trade Post. Because Megachondria is
maybe really Magnus is gonna GM that one.
Ooh!
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be sick actually. Yeah, Sappy's gonna GM one and then Mike's gonna GM one at some point, right?
Oh boy.
Gotta rotate.
Oh no.
Even if it's a one shot, we should try it. Yeah, anyways, Pokemon D&D Wednesday and Monster of the Week on Friday for Diversity Saves. I'll be on that stream as well. They are a wonderful organization that provides grants and funding for TTRPG projects all over the US, I guess, and everywhere, I guess. And they're doing an AEPI Heritage Month stream, 3 streams this weekend. And I'm on the one on Friday. They asked me to be a part of it, which is really nice. If you're watching, I applied for a grant for Super Journey Dudes. That would be great to get some funding.
Tell them Chris sent you.
Yeah, there you go. Anyways, we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Over and out.
Over and out.
There we go.
Super Journey Dudes, Super Journey.